Whale. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Get everything set up here. As you can see, I was writing scripts, of course. What else would I be doing with my time? Okay. I don't even know what we're looking at on OBS right now. Can you guys hope you guys can hear me okay? Should be good. Should be good. I hope. Okay. What the fuck? Awesome. Cool, cool. Let me just get everything. I'm going to turn my volume up too, just so we're good. I'm not making the same mistakes as last time. I need to figure out why. Ah, here we go. Okay. Now we're good. Okay, cool. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things this fine day. For the most part, what I wanted to discuss was this guy named Troy. I don't know if you guys have seen him, but he is hectic. Like hectic, hectic. Let me actually get this. Sorry, I'm just starting this stream. I'm a little bit disoriented right now because, to be honest, like I'm you know, fucking kind of on the move, if you will. Like I'm moving tomorrow into my house, so I have to be a little bit disoriented because everything's sort of half packed up, half not. I'm in this like weird situation. I'm honestly so excited to get an actual studio set up. Cause holy shit, man, this living out of a bag is not the life. It is not the life at all. Let me get this set up really quick. Okay, so we're good there. Make sure. Okay, we're good here. You guys can hear me. Let's see. Okay, so we're not good here. We're almost good. We're almost good. You guys see the story that popped with Scientific Snitch? That's some crazy shit. I'll be honest. That's some crazy shit. Thanks, man. Congrats on getting the new homes. I really appreciate it. Road trip? No. I did buy a Tesla. I don't know if you guys saw on YouTube or Instagram, but that's getting delivered to my house in Florida. So it's going to be a full ass drive all the way out to Florida. Or not a full ass drive, a full ass flight. There's no direct flights, so unfortunately I have to like bounce around to two different airports. So like what could be a 2 hour flight is now an 8 hour flight was the quickest, which sucks. I hate that actually. I hate flying, like genuinely hate flying. Um yeah. Oh, what's up? Scientific Snitch. I thought for a second I thought you said you lived there in Florida. I was like, damn. Okay, so what I wanted to do was what I wanted to do, Fort Lauderdale. What's up, man? I'm going to Jesus, I don't even Fort Walton Beach. Jesus, man, that took a while. Fort Walton Beach. I got a nice. I'll do like a little home tour. Maybe I'll stream that actually. I did like got a little nice like 3-bedroom house. It's kind of cozy. I might stay for a while or not that long. We'll kind of see how things go. It really just depends on situationally, like how I feel about the environment there. If it's really good, I'll stay. If it's garbage, I definitely won't. We'll kind of see how things go. Y'all remember Troy? We did a video on him not too long. I didn't think it wasn't like a whole video. It was like a partial video. It was like a little bit of a video. Basically, Troy is like what I would call a internet grifter 2.0. Let me just get this sheet set up. So Troy basically copied the Wes Watson blueprint and started holding his camera at the same angle, doing the same things as Wes Watson. Now, you can even see he's using the same emojis as Wes Watson because, like, he is basically Wes Watson. He's driving the nice car. He's, got that angle with the phone going on. Like, everything about Wes Watson is embodied in this individual. So he says that he came before Wes Watson. That's what he said on his Instagram. He says that Wes Watson is basically the guy who copied him because he's been doing it long before Wes Watson. But you see so many similarities. It's kind of like, I don't know who came first, like the chicken or the egg at this point. So I figured for our Slop content consumption, we could look at a little bit of Troy.
People die.
And see what he has to say. Because it's actually hysterical, to be honest. It's so funny. And look, he's not nearly as big as Wes Watson. Like, very clearly, he's a much smaller in terms of actual, like, quantity of viewers. But the emojis are kind of sus. Very sus. Like, very, very sus. So, typical stuff, right? You got a guy.
Full potential in life will be realized when you get your nutrition and fitness locked down. That's exactly what happened in my world. That discipline spilled over in every other area of life. I had no idea that I could experience life to the fullness that I do today. More focused and disciplined on finances, business, relationships, personal conduct.
Because push-ups are the hardest thing you can do, right? Because it's like the full embodiment of disciplined hardship in conduct, as he said, or something like that. It's just crazy. The same kind of personality. There's this one video that I just think is so disgustingly cringeworthy. It's this one. You guys have to be ready for this, okay? What we're about to experience is peak. Peak, okay? Please be ready for this. I mean, this is actual peak cringe. Ready?
Spreading rumors about your boy all over the internet and making false comparisons to me and other men. Why don't you check the age of these men? I'm 56. I've always been a go-hard dude. You just never heard of me before, but I'm on the scene now. Now you have. And saying that I'm anti-Christian. I'm this anti-Christian doctrine in America, and I'm anti-everything you support. See, you're hurt. Your feelings are hurt because I speak out against your totally depraved lifestyle. You're a supporter of smoking, drinking, pornography, drugs, being fat, poor nutrition, being a bad example to children. You support all that. No, I'm anti all that. Sounds pretty Christian to me. I think you're the one that's anti-Christ. Just want to get that clear. We good? Okay.
Like, the comments kill me in this already. First comment that's like sticking out to me like a sore thumb. Why are you yelling? Like, why are you yelling? Dude? Who are you yelling at? Like, you're in your house with your shirt off and you're just yelling. For what? Who are you yelling at? The other comment, 56-year-old man yelling all alone in his living room on social media, paying for followers, filming himself, eating alone at restaurants. You're very entertaining, Troy, but I am sad for you as a man. Straight up, keep on keeping on, though, bro. Dude, it's like this blueprint is just stuck on Instagram, man. Everybody fucking has this blueprint where they have to sit here with the camera, show their chest off and be like, "You fucking suck, dude. You aren't doing shit, you fat piece of garbage. You're an alcoholic and you support porn." What? Like, what has that ever had to do with anyone's actual success? Like, real talk, the shittiest people somehow make it in the world. I don't understand how. It baffles me. Like, the most garbage human beings somehow can get as wealthy as possible. It's not like this guy. And I just like, it's people like genuinely like Wes Watson, who's a fucking, ex-con and doing horrible things, scamming people. I don't know if this guy's scamming people, but it's clear he's trying to represent himself as another Wes Watson type. And it just like, oh my God, the emojis.
Living and the truth. Why I believe the Bible is true. Well, there seems to be a church on every corner. They all have different names, and none of the preachers ever agree with what the book says. There's no other religion on the planet that has that amount of chaos and confusion. Seems to be the very character.
I just can't. Like, what are you doing talking about the Bible, selling business coaching? You're just literally, it is a complete blueprint of Wes Watson. Look, first comment, what is with the Wes Watson camera angle? So here's my theory, right? Because I've followed Troy for a little bit now, just to kind of see what he's doing. And I wanted to kind of get a pulse for what's going on here. So I noticed something really important. This is with everyone who Wes Watson seems to be affiliated with in any capacity, or anybody who's hired Wes Watson, right? They all post this way. And I've made the whole video on this where there's several different phenotypes of this where they hold the camera at their side, they talk forward looking away from the camera, and they're just screaming about some fucking nonsense regarding other men being garbage and them being better. And I think what's happening here and what we're seeing in other men is them buying Wes Watson's blueprint and somehow replicating it at the best of their abilities. And whether it works or not, who knows? But it's embarrassing. Like, it is actually really embarrassing, to be honest. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It disgusts me. It honestly is like so cringe. And it just goes like this, man. He's got this one video too. Check out this sick fucking montage, bro. For his 10,000 subscribers or followers or whatever, he made this sick fucking montage. No, I thought it was a skit. No, unfortunately not, dude. He's life maxing, bro. You have to hire him to understand how to be a man. That's not a skit. You just don't recognize a real man, okay? You don't recognize a real man. This ain't no skit, obviously. Check out his cool car, though. Like, how much did homie have to pay for that montage? And what is this even doing? Like come on, man. This is a coach. You're a fitness coach, not a movie star. What the fuck is this? How is this supposed to inspire me to hire you? I can understand like these weak ass men out here who don't have fathers, and they're just like, man, this Troy could be my fucking father. It's like, nah, dude, homie's got nothing to give you, man. He's got nothing to give you. He could yell at you and tell you you're shitty, and if that's what you need, I guess that's what you need. But brother, like, this ain't teaching me anything about how to get fit, how to make money, or Jesus Christ. Like, what? It's crazy, man. Yeah, he's a real man for sure. He's a real fucking man. I mean, it's a cool commercial though. Don't get me wrong. This is sick as shit. This reminds me of like old school Fast and Furious. It gets my nerves pumping a little bit. Yeah, I think Fast and Furious. He's like, it's like this straight up kind of content. It's nuts. Maybe he's auditioning for the next Fast and Furious. I think he's a bit expired for that, to, to be honest. I think he's a little bit outdated for that kind of Fast and Furious. He cannot replace The Rock, that's for sure. I just realized this. What the fuck is he doing here? Let's see what's going on. I'm gonna not get copyrighted and play that audio. What is going on here, dude? This is real. Homie actually post this. He made me different. That's his. He says he made me different, dude. Oh my god. What are we watching right now? He's a lifestyle coach, not just a fitness coach? Yeah, I guess so. Because he says DM me for a healthy lifestyle. He says DM me for fitness coaching, but then he says for life advice as well. I don't actually know what that means. Like, I'm a coach. I guess I give people advice. Does that mean I should be marketing myself as also giving life advice? That's crazy. That's the prison stand? It very well could be, if we're being honest. I mean, that's crazy, man. Insert here. Oh my god. Oh, that's too much, man. That's too much. Yeah, so this is one of many kinds. Right? You got like all these kind of, look at this. Like, look at me eating at a restaurant. What the fuck kind of video is this, dude? Like, this is a man you can see, like, you can tell he's 50 something, right? And he's just learning how to use social media, because whatever he's posting, this just cringes me out. I'm out. Like, whatever he's got, I am fucking not interested, man. Even if it's interesting, even if what he has to say is valuable, I'm out. You got some mahi mahi, dude, and a shitty ass salad. Yeah. Man, dude. Man, that's who he is. Increase your output, and a misspelt UOU will increase experiences. That's facts. Cringe. Him and Wes Watson are on a date. Yeah, he's the one sitting across the table from him. Oh my god, man, it kills me, dude. These guys are everywhere. If you actually go to if we go to Wes Watson's Instagram, and I'm kind of like done talking about this guy. It's just like he keeps coming up, dude. He literally is just, he's too easy to make fun of. But then there's like other people, right? So we got this Trained by E guy, and same blueprint, man. Same fucking blueprint. And this is like a small creator, 2,200 subscribers, not that big of a deal. Absolutely. You want me to hire him? Dude, I am not paying $7K for that. I would rather spend my money on an investment, not a fucking money pit. I would let's say if I had that kind of revenue from YouTube already, I would easily do that in a heartbeat for you guys. That would be no problem for me. But that would be straight coming. I would eat that. That'd just come out of my fucking pocket. I would rather buy 1,000 cases of Pop-Tarts than pay fucking Wes Watson $7,000. I feel like that would be a better investment than doing anything that Wes Watson tells me to do. But you can see it's like the same kind of concept, tattoos, chains, telling people that he's like, man, simple and easy health, like same fucking emojis, man. Like, I'm telling you, there's something to this. They're all hiring him, and literally I can see it right now. He's got a school platform or something. Maybe it's a Discord. I don't know. He's got some kind of group. And in this group, he's like, here's what you got to do. It's like pre-recorded courses. And he's like, you got to do this. You got to use these emojis. You got to type in all caps. You have to yell at the fucking camera. You have to get tattoos on your chest and head and look badass. And you got to what is this, right? Can we just look at how self-absorbed this man's tattoos are? And I don't mean to just flame somebody, but when you're putting yourself out here like this as a fucking authority on some kind of matter, asking for people's money to hire you as a professional, you kind of put yourself out there for it, right? This man has a Gucci tattoo on his chest or whatever that is, Chanel. I don't even fucking care. He has a Mercedes symbol on his other tit. It's like, dude, could you have not spent more money on the fucking tattoos as opposed to the chain? Like, the chain is temporary, homie. Those tattoos are permanent. You did that to yourself. You got a fucking Chanel tattoo on your goddamn chest, brother. It's crazy. The lack of creativity is the biggest bummer. Yeah, it is, because it shows you that it doesn't even take that much variety to get people to pay you thousands of dollars. It's crazy. And then, like, same kind of fucking content, right? When we scroll through here, he posts a lot more workout content, but it's like, wow, this is so cringe. Yeah, I've done my due diligence. Unfortunately, you guys, I've gone through these people's Instagrams because I make videos. So I've scripted stuff. We'll just say that. But check this fucking video out.
Time it is, man. It's chest day. We with the big dog. Come on out. Get that nasty pump going. And y'all know what time it is, man. It's chest day.
Oh my god. And then there's Wes Watson. Let him know. Dude, it's crazy, man. The amount of bots in the comments too is insane. How do you got 2,000? Okay, so he has 2,000 followers, right? How many fucking comments could someone with 2,000 followers have? All right, check this shit out too. This is my Instagram, right? I don't buy shit for followers, for bots, for anything. 14.7K. That happened yesterday. Thank you, by the way. I don't buy any bots. Let's just look at a fucking post I made. 12 comments. I have quintuple the fucking amount of followers he has, and I'm not even getting that many comments on posts that get, like some of these reels, like let's take this one for an example. 25K has 18 comments, right? 25K views. So we're saying that this man is getting more comments on a single post than I am with 2,200 subscribers or followers or whatever. It's a little bit wacky. But he knows what he's doing. It's working, hopefully. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. 20K coming. I hope so, bro. That's the goal. 20K subscribers. Y'all can help me by sending my videos to people. Please. Snitch is in here. I don't need to beg her. I don't need it. Here's the thing about this, guys. Unlike these people who have to latch on and leech to other people's kind of fucking image, like, as soon as he's with West, hey West, can we take an Instagram picture so I can post it on my profile? I just want to see kind of what kind of interactions I get when you're on my profile. I think it'd be good for you too, bro. Maybe you could get some business. It's like, nah, dude. He's just trying to latch onto West to get some more followers, and I'm not that guy. Like, if people want to talk to me, if they want to collaborate, if they want to share posts with me, that's fine. I'm never going to be the type to be like, hey, could you please post me so I can boost my, like, I know what I'm doing on a long enough time horizon is going to get to where, is going to get me to where I need to be. I don't need to hire a program. I don't need to hire, like, all of these YouTube specialists reach out to me, right? And they're like, hey man, hire us. We'll help you max out your subscribers on YouTube and shit. I don't need to do that. It's just, I know what I'm doing is working. I just need to do it on a long enough time horizon and stay consistently who I am, and shit's going to happen. And I think a lot of these people, including this guy, is one of those individuals that tries to latch on to another person's blueprint and latch on to any kind of representation that he can have in that other person, because he's not willing to do the work, right? He's looking for a quick path there. And that's all it is. But the funny thing about this guy is he just simply has nothing to say. He's just like posting his physique the whole time. And then he has like these really cringe videos. I don't know if he'll post it on his story or not. He has these really cringe videos where, yeah.
Y'all know what time it is.
This one.
Y'all know what time it is. You see what's going on. Waffles, ice cream, and abs. Stop fucking playing around with your fat asses, alright?
You want a cheat code? You want to know how you can eat this every single night and still be shredded? Hit me up, guys, because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Oh, fat ass.
So the same blueprint, calling men fat, calling them stupid, saying they don't know what they're doing and that they need to hire you to not be stupid. So that's the thing I don't fucking understand. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, how can you think a business model is going to be successful if all you do is tell your audience that they're garbage and then ask them to pay you? You're begging for money. You know, it's like, it's no different than like a street performer. Or I don't know if you guys have ever been to it. It's like that it's like a restaurant called Dick's or something. I can't remember where they basically roast you at the table, and the better they roast you, you know, people go there to get roasted. They know that if they have a good waiter waitress that roasts the shit out, and they're gonna laugh, have a great time, they're gonna get a better tip. And it's kind of like that same thing. It's like people are just like, haha, you fucking idiot, and then just paying them money. And it's like, all right, cool. You're trying to roast these people. You're trying to get them to feel bad, and I don't know, man. It's really disgraceful, honestly. And this, by no means, is the last of them. There's tons of people that have that same blueprint, post the same way, say the same things over and over and over again, and it just does not end. And I really think that all West has to offer in his program is this: hey, post with these emojis, bro. Red exclamation points and the yapping emoji. Use those emojis, type in all caps, tell men they're garbage, and that if they want to get better, they can hire you, and that you have all the answers that they'll never have because you're so big, muscular, handsome, have gold chains and tattoos, and drive a car that you lease for $600 a month, which, you know, in this other guy's case is like a cheap Mercedes. By the way, Mercedes aren't expensive, you guys. They're expensive to buy, but to buy pre-owned, they're cheap. Like a pre-owned Mercedes, like a 2022 Mercedes, is cheaper than a brand new Honda. It's like 20 grand, 30 grand, maybe. I always kind of chuckle when I see people driving these Mercedes, like flexing them. It's like, no, dude. Like, it's cool and all, but not that great, brother. Like, it kind of, okay, so like, I've been super fortunate in my life too to have a lot of nice things. And like, I've made decent amounts of money in my life by doing different things. And the one thing that I learned is that once you get nice things, it takes about a week, maybe two, and the niceness just kind of fucking wears off. Like the novelty of the items just wears off. It's gone. I've had sports cars. I've had like okay, so great example. I had a brand new, so I had two trucks, right? Before I left for Thailand, I had a 2024 Chevy RST, like fully packaged out everything, super sick, murdered out, all black, everything. It was sick. Bought that fresh off the lot, brand new, never been driven before. Then I bought a second truck. So I had two trucks, and this was a 2024 Trailhawk Tacoma. So super sick. It had bulletproof Kevlar tires, like just the whole nine, dude. It was super sick. And after like 2 weeks of driving them both, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I don't even feel like content right now. Like, they're cool cars to look at, but as soon as you drive them for like 2 weeks, you're like, yeah, but is it really worth it? And you're kind of like, no. You know, it's sort of like this facade you create for yourself that these things are necessary or even important. And then you just have them for a while and you're like, this ain't fucking nothing, dude. I don't need this shit. I like, give me enough money to travel the world every now and then and have a decent home with like all the, like, here's what I need, right? Here's what's going to make me happy. I've said it before, like a 1993 Ford F-150, like all completely refurbished, like fresh as fuck, a decent 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom house with, you know, a good set of clothes that are decently fitted shirts that aren't fancy brands, just decently fitted, a streaming setup or a YouTube setup like this, and a decent kitchen. And I'm good to go. Like I really could never, ever desire more than that. It just blows my mind that these people want you to believe so much so that you need tattoos, you need the chain, you need the car. None of that shit's necessary, man. It's just not. Was your POV while in, and was it under 25% APR? Yeah, it was under 25%. I I have really good credit, so I take care of myself. I also make decent income for a guy. You're thinking of you're, as a rational adult with humility. Wait until you get to 40. It becomes greater. Yeah. Would love for someone to say that I started a business with illegal money, but oh, Jesus. You guys are arguing. Whatever. I'm going to keep enjoying my slop comments or content. Jesus. Yeah, a family's worth way more than all of that. You're right. Like a family is going to be substantially better for like numerous different reasons, and you're always going to have them around. And it costs money to support. But here's the thing: when you don't have a family, you save a bunch of money. Guess what you can spend that money on? Fucking cars and shit, right? Family's expensive, and I think it would be more worth it to have those expenses deposited in that family as opposed to self conceded interests that don't really feed you back any sort of mechanisms of benefit. So that's my opinion on dipwits that are copying the West Watson blueprint, essentially. There was another video that I wanted to talk about, but I honestly don't know if I'll be able to find it. Um, choo, 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 choo. Yeah, family's worth more for sure. Absolutely. Where was I seeing this? There's a great video that I was like, man, I really want to watch this and kind of like react to it, but I don't think I'll be able to find it because I accidentally fucking exit out of that tab, of course. Let's check trending, see what's going on there. Maybe we got some fucking great stuff and I don't even know about it. What do y'all think about the drone situation? Is that crazy or what? Is that real? That's the there's this one military guy that was posting about it being real. Like he was saying, yeah, we're dropping these drones to attack orbs. And Homeboy was like a specialist, which is a really low rank in the military, saying that, he fucking knew what was going on. It's like, dude, you don't know nothing. When you're a specialist, you don't know anything. Talking about, what's going on. There is so much shit going on right now in the world. Hmm. Man, this is interesting. A lot of YouTube has turned into. I don't actually go on trending very often at all, but a lot of YouTube has turned into like just this really clickbaity stuff. I don't know if you want to call it clickbait, but just like heavy thumbnail usage, like over exaggeration in the thumbnails. I don't know. It's very interesting. To be honest, to be honest, you can see what my interests are. I'm self exposing so hard here. Thoughts on Liver King and his health scare. What the fuck happened to Liver King? Did he fucking get hurt? Let me pull a chat up here. Rogan had Ryan Graves on and was talking about drones. He's a former naval aviator who came forward about UFO sightings while flying. That's nothing new, right? Like we've known about that in like since 2018, I believe. There was like official documents releasing the fact that we hadn't known about anything. You're in New Jersey and you haven't seen one drone, so it's fucked then. It's all bullshit. What health scare? I mean, I just think he's going psycho. I don't know about a health scare.
Week one, bone in, skin on sardines with the family. I got 45 seconds to do it. Liver, there's all drumsticks.
I'm here with Heidi Skipton. She brought her family.
Looks fine to me. Fix my posture? Dude. I have cerebral palsy. My posture's already fucked. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. And what's surprising about this is the fucking news reporting on it.
You unequivocally say that none of the drones that are being spotted are DoD assets or something that's being tested within the Defense Department. Are all of these either civilian or otherwise, but just not Department of Defense drones?
Yeah,
Yes.
I really have cerebral palsy. It's very real. I had to wear casts when I was like from the ages of as soon as I could walk till probably about 15. I had to wear like a full brace to correct my, because essentially when your muscles aren't functional, your bones grow in respect to how your muscles create tension. And so if you have dysfunctional muscles, which like there's tension in areas that shouldn't be constantly, and others there's zero tension, that can, cause a lot of structural developmental issues. And yeah, I had to avoid that shit.
8,500 drones are, in flight. And so the vast majority of these drones are going to probably be recreational or hobbyist. They're going to be commercial drones, used in things like architecture, engineering, farming, or they could be used for law enforcement. Is it possible that some of those drones could be up to malign activity? It's entirely possible, but the vast majority, that is not, the case. And in the case of drones flying near or over U.S. military installations, that in and of itself, just given the volume of drone flights we see on a given day, is not something that's new. We take all of those seriously. We will typically, when we detect them, attempt to classify them and take appropriate measures.
Ryan, I did not get an ASAP waiver for that. There's other ways around it, but I can't fully disclose those actual ways because it would put me in jeopardy. So, yeah. When you join the military, what he's talking about is you have to go to MEPS, which is like an entrance processing station, medical entrance processing station, and you have to get medically examined. They literally touch you from your fucking toes, asshole, dick, up to your head. And they examine everything they can. And you have to pass that in order to join the military. And if you have medical conditions, you can get waivers for them, but most waivers do get denied. And basically, I was able to get through that. So I just cannot explain explicitly how, but it happened. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, Ryan.
agreement was to create a test and evaluation corridor for UASs, unmanned aerial systems, and advanced air mobility. Is it possible that these drones that are being seen in New Jersey are part of that corridor that was created a year ago to test these kind of drones and unmanned systems?
Yeah, and I know you're not going to be surprised by this, but I've had some of your other colleagues reference that press release. I did check with the Joint Staff to see if that was possible, and again received confirmation: no military operations, no military drone or experiment operations in this corridor.
Thanks, Pat. Going back to Russia, the general who was assassinated in Moscow, how significant is that? Do you think that's going to change Russia's calculus at all in the war with Ukraine? And what comments do you have on the accusations that he was responsible for the use of chemical weapons in Ukraine?
I'd refer you to Russia to talk about the potential impact. Again,
what is this lady doing bringing up fucking Russian shit? And how is he saying this is all recreational? It could be, but there's hundreds and hundreds of fucking drones from what I've understood. Is this wrong? I mean, like, that's insane, dude, to say that it's all just recreational drones.
On drones for a second, what was the thinking behind sending additional detect and track systems to Picatinny Arsenal and Naval Weapons Station Earl? And are there other facilities that might get more of these systems in the future?
Yeah, so a couple things. So first of all, again, a lot of focus on this right now for all the obvious reasons, some of which includes those sitting in this room here. And so we're going to take this seriously. And so ensuring that installations, in this case Picatinny and Earl, have the capabilities they need to detect, to identify and track as appropriate in the event
I don't see no Kathleen Fox. Jesus, the news is crazy. I actually haven't looked up the news in forever. These titles are insane. That's crazy. I'm surprised the drone thing has been such a, like, I don't even give a fuck. Like, if the drones are fucking real, they're real, dude. Drone expert warns there's a larger issue with mystery sightings. All right, let's see what this guy has to say.
Brett Velkovich is a Fox News contributor. He's a drone expert, former Delta Force, former Army Special Operations soldier. Bottom line, you don't mess with.
Okay, wait. I was in the Army. We use drones, but we use them like very conservatively. I'm curious what makes him a drone expert as a operator, as like a Delta Force guy, because as a cavalry scout, we only use drones like, I mean, shit. We qualified with them like once. That's crazy.
Brett. So, Brett, help me with this here. A lot of authorities, they're giving a little bit more information, not a lot more information. As a New Jersey resident, I can tell you that is not satisfying a lot of fellow Garden Staters who feel that someone's lying to them or hiding stuff from them. What do you say?
Well, that's the problem, right? Is America right now lacks a lot of faith in our own government institutions. So anything they come out and say, even if it's the truth, is going to be pretty hard to believe. They've got a credibility issue right now. And I don't think that much is going to come out of these classified briefings, or we're going to really learn too much more information. This may never get solved because, frankly, I think the U.S. government doesn't have any clue what they're doing. And the general public right now is starting to get more educated on drone technology over the last couple of weeks and starting to ask the real tough questions of our elected leaders that they just can't answer. And I see this day in and day out, Neil, and that's why I'm particularly focused on getting our government to change the structure with our national security policies to employ more counter-drone electronic warfare systems across the board to protect American citizens. And there are ways to do that safely and not invade privacy, because we have major flaws in our drone industry that have been perpetuated by agencies who keep kicking the can down on the road with these authorities. It's almost as if they're waiting for someone to attack us with explosives on these.
Man, I'm just saying, I feel like this has really brought out the worst in people. Like, I don't know about y'all, but this is just kind of like completely, like, the hysteria is unreal. The hysteria that we're seeing from this like circumstance, which could even just be false, because I'm not in fucking New Jersey. You know, apparently homeboys in New Jersey from chat, but like, haven't
drones
seen any
before
fucking
anything is done.
drones.
Our industrial base for manufacturing new drones and counter drone technology in the U.S. has nearly been destroyed due to over-regulation by the FAA. Our government has set us back years behind China and Russia because of these limitations. And every day I'm realizing more and more our law enforcement entities don't know how to stop a crisis like this.
So, Brett, you'll tolerate a couple of dumb.
Yeah, fear does that for sure. Like, fear is going to be the big motivator in all this. It just drives so much hysteria. Like, you see so many videos on Instagram and shit of people just posting planes. And it's like, dude, that is a legitimate plane. Like, you can see the, like, FAA required lights on the aircraft. And, side note, my autism's crazy. I love learning about planes. So I know virtually everything there is to know about commercial aircraft for the most part, outside of being a fucking flylet. And it's just crazy because, like, a lot of these videos are of planes and people, like, are screaming at the sky thinking it's actually fucking Jesus Christ being resurrected.
Questions from here, but what's confusing a lot of people and what we're told is
why did the president with dementia not say anything about what's going on? He's too busy pardoning his son from committing war crimes.
happening. A lot of folks are mistaking
He'll forget about it
for drones and vice versa. I don't know how many, but give us a quick tutorial on that. What is the difference? Why are they so easily confused?
Well, they're easily confused because more people are looking up in the air, quite frankly. A lot of people don't realize that there are thousands of drones that fly over the United States every single day. Not all of them are nefarious.
Yeah, I was a cavalry scout.
We've got a larger issue here because this isn't, just about some unauthorized drones that are flying around. This potentially is a problem that's going to start affecting our economy if these drones are flying in sensitive sites or over airports. You have airports right now with thousands of holiday travelers, which these airports can be shut down if they determine that there's a drone threat. There was a drone event that occurred pre-Christmas during flights out of London's Gatwick Airport in 2019, and it cost the airlines over $64 million from that airport being shut down just one day. And the current administration right now, look, they can fix this problem, and we have the technology to fix this problem. It's just not widespread, and they've essentially been saying that, hey, we've got a problem, we're just not willing to fix it. You've got too many agencies with different authorities. Every time, a lot of people get shut down when they're trying to do something or innovate, and we need this whole of government approach to fix this problem fast. And I know the administration doesn't necessarily like DoD working on our soil, but frankly, the DoD has the best technology right now on the planet to do this, and we're sending a lot of that stuff overseas instead of using.
The DoD has the best technology to do this. I mean, come on, it's some fucking drones, brother. Like, I'm sure we can figure out how to knock some drones out of the sky. I don't know how it would be hundreds like people are saying it is. Like, again, drones are like expensive as shit. The general average person's not going to buy a drone. Even if they had the money to do it, they'd probably spend that money on something else. I don't think a bunch of 16-year-olds are just going out and buying a shit ton of drones. I don't know. It's just a weird situation.
Using it to protect our own people. And I want to say one more thing, and this has to do with Ukraine. Most people know I'm a fan of Ukraine, but we need to stop sending money to Ukraine to.
Jeez, is this guy just so sideline this thing like crazy? He's like, we're talking about drones, but Ukraine, we gotta stop spending money. Like, dude, this is not what we're fucking talking about, brother. They're just Temu dropping sales. Yeah, everyone's picking up their $3 drone from Temu, drop shipped straight to their fucking house, bro.
Build up their drone technology base. We are sending hundreds of millions of dollars that goes to the development and employment of Ukrainian drone technology that is better than U.S. technology. They have better tech than us, right?
Well, what kind of guns shoot down drones? I don't think guns are the answer. I think a counterinsurgency of drones are probably the answer. Like, let's get closer to these things and see what they are. Likely they're just commercial, drones, and then issue a warrant for the arrest of anyone using drones or aircraft in these areas, and problem solved. Like, if you threaten people's lives with these things or their livelihoods, like, no one's gonna do anything about this shit. Like, no one's gonna start flying drones if they know, okay, shit, I can't be flying this. Like, I don't think you need guns. Use intellect, that's all you really need. All legal FBI are probably just pissed at me personally for calling them a bunch of girls and stuff.
Right now, and we're paying for it. So that's a big problem, and we need to fix our industrial base here and make us again the powerhouse on drones.
Yeah, and maybe if this is the catalyst to do it, so be it. Brett, thank you very much, my friend.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know about the whole drone thing. That's crazy though. I'm gonna train falcons. Dude, the falcons would absolutely fuck these drones up, man. Those things would fucking fuck these drones up. Uh-oh. Let me type this in. Drones from Ukraine? Are you talking about the like the explosive drones? Because I've seen those too, where like they drop them on a car. Interesting. Are we talking about this?
Rostov region, 21 over the territory of the Bryansk region, 14 over the territory of the Belgorod region, the statement said. Also, according to the department, 6 drones were shot down over the territory of the Voronezh region, 3 over the territories of the Kursk and Tambov regions, and 1 over the
This is some
territory of
AI
the
slop
Krasnodar
for
region.
real.
A fire broke out at the Novoshakhtinsk oil refinery in Russia's Rostov Oblast in the early hours of December 19 following a mass drone and missile attack, Yuri Slyuser, acting governor of Rostov Oblast said. Explosions initially rang out near the oil refinery just after midnight, the Russian
just dropping
Telegram news
bombs.
channel Astra reported, citing eyewitnesses. The outlet also posted video footage of the site in flames. Slyuser wrote on Telegram that a fire had broken out at the refinery following a mass Ukrainian aerial attack which allegedly included over 36 drones as well as 3 missiles. Firefighters are currently on scene attempting to extinguish the large blaze, Slyuser added. Shortly before reports began, activity is production of weapons and
Well, you said the fucking Ukraine drones, man.
ammunition.
This is news. This is like new. Dropping bombs on these homies. Ukraine is dropping bombs on Russians, bro. The Ukrainian drones are somewhat cheap kamikaze units. They put grenades into it. Yeah, that's the one I've seen. Where they basically just dive bomb onto units, which is crazy. It works. Shit. It works. What was the thing about Lyle McDonald? That's someone I haven't heard in forever. Should do a video on him. Is this like an ongoing thing right now? Because I know they've hated each other forever. Oh my God. 3 hours? Three hours?
Well, he used to have nothing but the utmost flattery.
Yeah, until I was mean to him.
And Lyle, listen, I think you're brilliant. I have the utmost respect for Lyle.
I think Lyle probably smarter than me.
Now Mike can't even hear my name without losing his mind.
Lyle.
By the way, Solomon Nelson is a great YouTuber. He might not have the most expensive setup or the most comprehensive fucking YouTube personality or presence in the world, but he is a great YouTuber.
Listen, Lyle, we need your help. Lyle McDonald, we need your help. Hey, Lyle McDonald, fuck you.
I'd be like, Eli McDonald? Well, that depends.
Debating Lyle McDonald, like if he was in front of me, he would take the.
You know, Lyle has like autism, right? I've spoke to him many times. He's very, very autistic. Like genuinely, I'm not making that up. Happy to have a good night, man. I'm not making that up. He's actually autistic.
World for me to not choke him to death.
So I always move out of arm's length.
I'm not getting stronger week to week. Am I training wrong? If you're getting stronger week to week, you're under training.
As we actually have the genetics to grow muscle, unlike him. And that is meant as an insult because I don't like Lyle.
My methods work, Mike, and you proved by your own logic that yours don't.
The only reason I compete is to illustrate to people that the methods that we espouse at Renaissance Periodization are effective.
It worked for you. If by
This
work
is
you
this is horrible.
mean
that is such a troll. I think. Look, here's the thing, though. I think that the reality is, Mike knows how to fucking leverage the shit out of the internet. He's not dumb. He's a very fucking brilliant man, And I don't know if everything he's saying is actually true in regards to like hating people and stuff. It could just be tomfoolery, but I don't know.
Abject failure at the only sport you ever tried to be good at.
You started this, Lyle. You made fun of me first. I have more willpower than you. I'm just better than you, Lyle.
I know one of, well, his ex-coach. Some of the questions that Mike, world's bodybuilding expert, has asked him, and he doesn't know shit.
And also in every category of human behavior, I'm tougher than you. I can train closer to failure than you. I can do it for longer. I'm funnier than you. I'm smarter than you. And I'm better at being a than you.
Dude, Mike, it's no chill, bro. He's actually like that in person, too. Oh, my God. Mike's just not cut out for this sport. I would actually agree with you. I think Mike just doesn't have a good set of genes, for one, and two, he's got too many goddamn distractions, and his ego is too big. In any sport that it requires a high degree of performance, you have to have a very, very humbled position. You have to understand that you're at the bottom, and you can't have this big ego. You have to be You have to squash that shit right when you enter the door. And I think Mike's ego may have gotten a little bit too big as he's become so successful, and his infamy has gone out the fucking wazoo. Like, the man can pull up anywhere and everyone knows him. And so it's like, at a certain point, you kind of let that ego feed into itself, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to be fucking Mr. Olympia, you know? I'm going to fucking get cut no matter what, dude. And it just fools you. It lies, bro. It lies to you. Your ego straight lies to you, and it convinces you that you have it down, and you are far from having it down. Mike's ego is insane. Yeah, I agree. Mike can definitely get an IFBB Pro card if he ate better. I don't know about that, bro. I think his genetics are truly like mid-shelf kind of genetics. I honestly believe that.
Dr. Mike Israetel is a competitive bodybuilder and highly successful YouTuber who's known for making critiques of other people's fitness advice on the Renaissance Periodisation channel. Mike criticizes
I just want Solomon to read books to me, bro. I could fall asleep listening to Solomon.
the way people train, the way people eat, and even the way people take performance-enhancing substances, from fitness influencers to Hollywood celebrities, and even professional bodybuilders. But what about Mike's own advice and practices in competitive bodybuilding? Can they be criticized? Well, if you were to ask Mike, then the answer would most likely be no, because Mike only accepts criticism from top experts in his field.
I don't know why I fucked up. And if you think you know, you are presuming you know more than me about the thing I'm one of the top experts in the world in, and also the thing I'm literally involved in myself. So whatever ideas you have about how I can improve, just fuck right off.
By his own admission, Mike can't.
That's actually crazy. That's actually crazy. Like, I know Mike can be like that. It's just dangerous. It's just dangerous to be like that. Like, have that opinion of, if anything you say to me is criticism, fuck right off. That's a big ego, if you've ever seen one. That's huge ego. That's the exact reason he's never placed well at a single show, is because of that.
Figure out why he effed up.
Jesus fucking Christ. This is real? Oh my God. What the fuck is this? What is this? This is fatter than I have ever been, and he's standing on stage. What the fuck? Hold on, check this out, guys. I am eating like a fat fuck right now. I'm leaner than that by a mile. How do you get like that? Oh my God. What?
In competitive bodybuilding. It truly is an enigma. We need a top expert on the case. They aren't easy to find, but folks, I have just the right man.
It's also one of the reasons he doesn't compete a lot in BJJ. He's afraid to put it on the line and lose. Yeah, I could see that. Especially in combat sports, like going into Muay Thai, you think that you know it all, like you, because I'm big, right? And back then I was even bigger. You go to Muay Thai and the guys are like 130 pounds, 140 pounds, and you think like you got it. You learn really quick that you don't have it, and you get humbled. But if you have a big ego, you'll go in there and you'll be like, "Fuck these guys." You'll just be like that piece of shit guy, and then you get your shit rocked, and you're completely embarrassed in front of everybody. And then it's just like this horrible fucking thing. You get miserable. You leave the sport, like you never want to be a part of it again. So I could see that because his ego is a little too big to support, like getting his ass whooped in reality.
Lyle McDonald, welcome
Howdy.
back. Hey,
Hey,
thank you
having
for
me.
joining me.
Hi.
And thanks for constantly giving me shout-outs on your YouTube channel, by the way.
My buddy Solomon Nelson, who does some fantastic videos. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's more people need to know about. You're doing the stuff that I used to do or wanted to do and never got around to. So I want more people to see more fact and evidence-based examinations of the nonsense that goes on in this industry, because there's a lot of it.
Mike and Lyle go way back. Tell me about that volume debate.
Mike just talked in circles.
Dude, no way. This guy is peak comedy, bro. That's so funny.
Absolutely give qualification.
It was 90 minutes of wasted time. Truly
Oh my God.
wasted time.
In fact, Mike used to hold Lyle in high regard.
I have the utmost respect
So number one difference is volume.
for Lyle.
I think Lyle probably is smarter than me and knows a lot of shit.
Now Mike can't even hear my name without losing his mind. Why? Go listen to everything I said. I said, I don't care how he trains. Perfectly fine with how he trains. His information is shit, and he's telling you what he's telling you is wrong. And apparently 5-6 years later, it still bothers him.
The details of that will come later in Chapter 3. For now, I'll outline the structure of this video. In Chapter 2, Lyle and I critically analyze Mike's fitness advice. In Chapter 3, we critically analyze Mike's rebuttal to one of Lyle's past criticisms of Mike.
Yeah, man, he's got to make more of these kind of videos. My goal, I aspire to make these fucking length of videos, like these absolute behemoths of videos. But do you guys realize how hard it is? Like, I commend Solomon so much because it is genuinely fucking hard to do this kind of content. Not only to keep people engaged for 3 fucking hours, but to edit this much footage and piece it all together in a way that's very concise and congruent. Immensely hard. Absolutely love it.
Which is that what Mike claims is muscular failure actually isn't. In Chapter 4, we critically analyze Mike's competitive bodybuilding career, such as it has been. I conclude in Chapter 5 by discussing what you can take away from this whole expose. The first thing I asked Lyle to do was critique Mike Israetel's fitness advice in a similar vein to the way Mike criticizes everyone else's advice. We went through several of Mike's claims. Here's what Lyle had to say about them. He says that to have a very low body fat percentage, even to the point where you have striated glutes, isn't unhealthy.
Low body fat's not being healthy. It just is resting on I'm sorry, forgive me. It's resting on an empty assumption. People see striated glutes and they go, that can't be healthy. And I would love to be in real life with that person instead of over social media and say, okay, no, I hear you. Why not? But can you explain to me why it's not healthy? And usually they can't.
Okay. That is, well.
He does make an exception for women in the form of the estrogen goes down, they lose bone mineral density.
It actually leads to long-term bone loss. So fat goes out the window. Being lean for females, very lean, is definitely not a good thing.
But yeah, he says striated glutes aren't inherently unhealthy.
What does he think happens to men's hormones at that level?
He goes,
Yeah, I mean, he's basing that claim. I can see what he's saying. He's basing that claim off people who use performance enhancing drugs. Like, I don't think now this is Mike doing something erroneous on social media, which is creating generalized statements that don't have specificity, but that's also in part how you get to be so famous on internet. You make very generalized claims, you have a great swath of people that agree with you, a great swath of people that disagree with you, and that commotion in your comment sections and interactions creates virality. And so this is what I meant by like Mike's a good social media guru because he can do these things. I don't think what Mike was saying was based around natural individuals, because in natural individuals, I would argue 10,500,000,000% that is not healthy to be anywhere near a sub 10% body fat. In non-natural individuals, when you're taking a little bit of testosterone and a little bit of the other gals and girls, you got more to play with, and you could argue that your function isn't inhibited by being that lean. I know for me personally, like being that lean really isn't that much of an issue. I can generally tolerate it for a long amount of time, but I'm using testosterone. So I could see where, the delusion could be seemingly present, but maybe he was just making an overly generalized statement.
testosterone goes down, but, that doesn't mean you're less healthy.
Certain biomarkers like testosterone, estrogen, generally the sex hormones, they definitely take a hit when you're very, very lean. Slight downside. Okay.
Testosterone goes to castrate levels at that level, and I dare say the data on hypogonadism and health is pretty well established. So, yeah. Now, I'm actually going to give him the benefit of the doubt on this one. Not in what he said, but in that a defense could be made in his case. Because something that has fascinated me for years, we knew about all these adaptations to dieting. Metabolic rate, thyroid, nervous system, appetite, muscle loss, all this stuff. We knew it all happened. You looked at what happened to hormones, testosterone goes castrate, T3 levels go down, cortisol goes up, estrogen and progesterone go down, the whole hormonal profile, muscle growth, blah, 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 protein synthesis goes down, all these things happen, appetite goes up. But if you go back and look at the way drug-using bodybuilders, what they sort of, through trial and error, figured out to do for contest prep, they were replacing or fixing every one of those systems. Testosterone goes down, take anabolic steroids. T3 drops, take thyroid medication. Sympathetic nervous system goes down, clenbuterol. Growth hormone screws up, growth hormone. Appetite suppressants. Now you've got the GLP-1 drugs. Going to put me out of a job. Whether they knew it or not, they were fixing each of these problems that occurred. Now, leptin would fix it all, but it never got out of the research stage, right? Other than for one disease condition. But leptin injections would have fixed all this at the central level, because the body would still think that you were fat and eating. But neither here nor there. If you look at a natural bodybuilder in contest shape, their system is completely flat.
Yeah.
There's a famous study on, it's got a turgid title, hormonal and endocrine responses to a high stress. Basically, it was a bunch of special forces guys that were forced to live on.
I've read this study. Yeah, it's a great study. I think it's also really interesting what he's saying about the whole the use of hormones was curated to fix the problems generated from being lean, like thyroid, testosterone, etc. It's so true. Basically, when I look at enhancements, it's like, okay, what are all the different pathways that exhibit benefit in terms of protein accretion? And you just go down the path. Like you have the beta 2 adrenergic system, like that actually initiates some muscle protein synthetic cascades. You have growth hormone, you have insulin like growth factor, you have insulin, you have androgens, so on and so forth. Insulin sensitivity, of course. And so like you plug something in for each and every one of those locations, and you get someone that's very jacked and very muscular. You backlog all the deficiencies that could possibly happen in a human, and then bring them to super physiological levels. Now you've got a really jacked person.
On no calories, 16 hours of exercise, of pack work, and very little sleep. They all ended up at like 5% body fat. Testosterone was castrate, cortisol was up, T3 was down.
All right, I don't mean to cannibalize his video, but I get the point. I want to see his other points.
About some other irresponsible advice. Take a month off to see massive gains. Growth hack.
The growth hack is to take a month off of training once a year, every year, to grow more. That's a fresh, very resensitized muscle, sensitive to muscle growth, sensitive to training, because it hasn't.
All right, that's a wild statement. I will say the whole muscle sensitivity thing, that's not even a, like, where did that come from? I didn't realize he said that. That's embarrassing, to be honest.
Experienced it in a while.
Resensitization.
Oh, Jesus. The whole resensitization thing is hilarious. I mean, it's been.
My whole endocrine system was shot after I got out of the Marine Corps. Yeah, that tends to happen. So I actually, before I got on gear, I got several blood tests done, and I had very low testosterone. It was like sub 200 nanograms per deciliter. And I went to figure out why. I went to several different doctors about this specific issue, and we ended up doing like ultrasounds of my pituitary gland. Not ultrasounds, CAT scans, MRIs, I think. And what we found was that there was like damage to the tissue, but that was effectively caused by concussive blasts from like 25 mic on Bradley. And apparently, I never do this, but apparently it's very common in like military personnel getting concussive blasts is to like have pituitary damage.
Been around for a while, and they've done the occasional paper. There's a weird paper where they had people take train as beginners, 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off, 3 weeks on, and they ended up at the exact same place. But these were neural strength gains, and it was water shifts anyway. And there was another one, they had to take a week off, and you see these. There's a paper that got a lot of press last year, and they were looking at molecular markers, and it caused these molecular markers to improve for growth.
No, it was just damage. It wasn't an adenoma. It was just pure tissue damage, like necrotic tissue, essentially.
But
yeah,
the paper itself said, well, it might be a resensitization, or it's probably just detraining, and this really argues for consistency in training. Right, so way back. So we go way back. Let's go way back. The old T-Nation days. You ever heard about the ABCDE diet? This anabolic burst cycling diet and exercise program. And there was this idea at one point that by deliberately causing muscle loss, by eating low protein and overtraining, would cause all these adaptations. They were basing this on people like underweight kids and malnutrition and rapid catch-up growth that occurs.
Oops. Hold on, folks. My headphones just decided to turn off randomly. Are they not going to turn back on? There we go.
Like when you fix protein energy malnutrition, like kwashiorkor and marasmus and stuff, that you would get this big rebound growth, because you see this decrease in protein breakdown and blah, blah, blah. And and that's true. And you get rapid growth right until you regain what you lost. And then you're right back to where you started, right? This is like the guys that just swear up and down that post-competition, there is an anabolic rebound where you are primed to gain muscle mass, despite the fact that every system in your physiology is geared towards fat regain. Eric Trexler did a paper on that. The first few days, there's a huge increase in lean body mass. It's glycogen and water. And then over the next 6 weeks, 97% fat gain. Like every system in the body, the idea that you're primed to grow at the end of a contest diet. Because people, you get this big jack, so you take a month off and you shrink. Yeah, I bet you do get accelerated growth. It's called muscle memory. And you get right back to where you were. At which point, And if you'd spent that month training, you'd be further than you are now.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty obvious point to me. I feel like the rebound thing I don't necessarily agree with, and I get that science might say one thing, but when you involve a lot of pharmaceuticals, again like polypharmacy to do multiple facets of different things to the human body, your physiology changed quite a bit. And so if you do rebound in a state where you're using pharmacology, I don't think you're going to partition that much fat, as it's very obvious the drugs that we're taking are going to help you partition differently than a normal human being. So that's very clearly stated there. But in those situations, taking time off is probably the most useless thing to do unless you're truly overtrained, which a lot of people, unless they're in prep or really heavy calorie deficit, doing lots of cardio, are not going to be that overtrained. Like people are out here thinking they're bodybuilders and they're like Olympic level athletes. Like you're not that crazy, dude. You go to the gym a couple times a week, like chill out. You're not overtrained. You see there's like a lot of holistic doctors too. They're like, you're overtraining, you need a break. Like, oh my God, your CNS is fried. You need to take some time off before your endocrine system shuts down on you. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, yes, we understand overtraining is real, but in most people that comes at such a high level of performance you can't even begin to describe. It's crazy, actually. It's like it's actually crazy that people believe time off equates to better results, and oftentimes it doesn't. It just is what it is. This is exactly how you should train: an undulation of volume at slash intensity to modulate recoverability. If you're under recovering, which you usually feel symptoms of pretty quickly, you slowly taper down on everything you're doing, but you don't stop and you just keep going. And then suddenly you push back up once you feel recovered. And at this point, because you found that you don't recover so well at doing whatever you're doing before, you drop the intensity of it down, like full stop.
It doesn't work that way.
Great response.
And the science doesn't support.
I'm curious on what he had to say about volume over progressive overload.
Totally. Does volume beat progressive tension overload? I believe that's one of Mike's older claims.
No.
So if we're really serious about saying it's tension, it's progressive and tension, progress and tension that we're really going after, are we really prepared to defend that with data and experimentation and even just a mental thought experiment? And the answer is really, when it comes down to it, no, we're not. Volume is the boss and intensity is the assistant. The boss is useless without the assistant, but the boss is more important. So
I've been thumping the drum of progressive
That was
tension
like the
overload.
worst analogy I've ever heard in my life. The boss can't do anything without the assistant, but the boss is more important. By definition, the boss is able to do everything without the assistant because he became the boss and put himself into a position to hire an assistant. How did he get there in the first place? Also, whatever, we're talking about fucking like irrelevant shit, but regardless.
Over time, we've known since the fucking 70s, that is the stimulus for growth. Even the papers you
Lyle equals professor, Mike equals class clown. Actually based. There's a real argument right there.
read go, tension is the initiator of growth. And then they blather about volume, right? Every paper that supposedly shows that volume is the primary driver of hypertrophy all have progressive tension overload built into the study design, with like 4 exceptions. We added weight to maintain the proper intensity. Everything else is being studied on a base of progressive tension overload. Ergo, that is primary, right? Because you can prove this to yourself, that in the long term, progressive tension overload is the key. Long term. Go find any dude in your gym who's not on Mike's special sports supplements. See what he's benching. Let's say it's 90 kilos for 10, 185 pounds in non-commie units. Come back a year later. If he's still only benching 185 by 10, I do not give a how many sets he's doing. He will be no bigger. Period. Come back and he's now up at 245, 115-ish kilos. he will be bigger.
Yep.
Right? Simple fact is that if you look at, there are no small, sorry, there are no big natural bodybuilders who are not strong, or who, more importantly, have not gotten much stronger, right? Because this is all that matters. You should just be able to do one maximal isometric and grow. I go, well, no, that's not. Well, they were saying that that would be sufficient. I go, but it's not. I go, we know that there is some number of high tension contractions required to turn on the growth mechanisms. We don't know how many it is yet, but we know that there is some number that is going to be required. But yeah, so in the long term, and people go, but well, and I've had people I've said that they're like, well, but I only squat, 365 by 8. I go, look, I'm not saying you're elite powerlifter strong. I go, but you cannot go from squatting 135 by 8 to squatting 365 by 8 pounds and not have bigger legs or be bigger. It's a bad example because backs, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Show me someone who's never squatted more than 85 by 8. They will not get bigger. It is a matter of getting strong.
This is so true. And I have been horrifically I think maybe you guys see this if you like keep in on me, like tabs on me from where I go on like different podcasts and stuff. But I've been a victim of like so many different opinions and I never share mine. I'm just like, yep, like, what do you think about this? Oh, that's cool. Interesting. I might try that. What do you think about this? Oh, that's cool. I don't really try to inject myself because there's so much we don't know, oddly enough, about exercise sciences. But this is so true. I think this is the one thing that can be, there's just no argument at all. Strength or progressive overload, tension created in the muscle, mechanical tension increased by load is how you get bigger. I don't know, it's just so clear to me. Like you look at any compound movement the biggest bodybuilders are doing, they're doing it with like astronomical weights. How'd they get there? They didn't start there. I think it's a big proxy of strength. And I think the biggest failure in modern fitness that I've seen is by far people going to the gym day in and day out, every single day, every single week for an entire month, for an entire year, and never challenging themselves with new weights. Like they never actually like push the weight up to any kind of significance. They just keep it where it is because it feels okay. And I think that's such a big flaw. I think that's where you miss your gains almost entirely, and you ruin your potential to basically, grow. Like you're doing all this work, but you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of situation. So you're doing enough work to be suffering and to be like putting in the effort and to take the time and to do all these things. But you're 1 foot out as in you're not getting the results. So you're 1 foot in, you're doing the work, but you're not getting the results from doing the work. And you could theoretically likely do less work by just focusing on doing the minimum effective sets for you and then increasing loads across a period of time. And that might save you 30 minutes a day, which is massive after 6 months. Massive,
Stronger relative to yourself in the same exercise, done in the same like there's a zillion qualifiers. I wrote like a 5-part series about tension on my website. But I'm like, I hate that I have to make all these qualifiers, but you people are determined to misunderstand.
No, I'm not prepping for a show. I just seemingly can't eat enough to get like any fatter, in the nicer way to say it. I would actually like to because I feel better, heavier, or with more body fat, but I just genuinely cannot. I don't know.
It would take, but it's too long for me to write this paragraph. This is what I'm saying, but it is assuming that your form is not changing as you add weight. And if I take someone who's using too much weight on rows and I reduce the weight and let them use proper form, their back is now getting a stimulus. Well, see, lighter weight was growth. Like, no, but we're not talking about an exercise. We're talking about the muscle. And God Almighty, are you going there? It's like it's aggressive illiteracy sometimes. But in the long term, and there's a reason a lot of good natural bodybuilders cross-compete in powerlifting. There's a lesson to be had there. There are no big, weak natural bodybuilders, period. You cannot find, even the pros, ignoring Mike, and there are guys that get away with, lighter, pumpier training and let the drugs do the work. Most of those guys are pretty damn strong.
That's true. Sorry, again, cannibalizing this content. I don't have the full 3 hours to go through it. Solomon, if you're watching, bless your heart for making this content. I'll love to review it on another time, but doing it live is just not, no way. This video would be like 6 hours long.
Like, higher volumes let you grow more. I think that's another just blanket assertion that he's made.
High volume training not only builds the most muscle, it breaks down the most muscle and requires the most calories to repair.
Like, there are 52 set per week programs, 45 set per week programs, 27 set per week programs, 18 set per week programs that all outperform the smaller set per week programs that were compared in those studies directly.
More volume equals more growth. Okay, cool story, bro.
He did place last. Cruel. Absolutely cruel.
Return on investment, U-shaped curve, nah, it's just more volume equals more growth without any. Okay, cool. I'm still, the other thing this paper talked about, when they talked about the super high volumes, they also mentioned, this will get left out. One thing we did not address was, the long-term sustainability and burnout issue. They also brought up the fact that in most of these super high volume studies, they're only looking at like 1 or 2 muscle groups, right? That is still the question I'm waiting to have answered about this 52 set study. It was quads only. Hamstrings were like 4 sets and upper body was just, they gave a little something to do on the side. Okay. Assuming 52 sets per week. Oh, also that 52 sets is only for 2 weeks. That's not how any of this was presented. They didn't do 52 sets for 20 weeks. They built up to it. That was 2 maximum volume weeks. And the growth was still insignificantly better for the 2.5 times. But I asked the question, and I still ask the question. Let's assume 50 sets per week gives better growth based on this study in quads only. How do you do that for full body? It's just that simple, right? Chest, back, delts, biceps, triceps, quads, hamstrings, glutes, 8 or 9 muscle groups, depending on how you want to count it. Are you going to do 450 hard sets a week? No, because it cannot physically be done.
Can you imagine doing 450 hard sets a week? What the fuck would you be? Your life. So like on an average day, I train really fast. So like on an average day, I'll do 2, 4, 6, 8, about 10 to 11 sets per session. 10 to 11 sets per session. And that takes me a good hour and 20 minutes to do. So how the fuck would you fit in 42? So let's just take the time that I use now, and I'm able to give myself enough rest between each set to make sure that I'm getting adequate stimuli the second set, right? I'm able to push myself because I'm not overly fatigued. That would take me at least 6 hours, somewhere in there, because I'm going to get more fatigued as time goes on. So there's going to be more rest required per set. I mean, that's crazy. And right now my current split is like upper, lower, upper, lower, upper. So each upper session I'm training push and pull, arms and shoulders. Each lower session I'm training quads and hamstrings and calves. So if I'm to like put that into a week, how does that even work? That would be true overtraining. Yeah, at that point, just make your bedroom your gym. Yeah, like there's no other way to do it. There's no other way to do it. Anyone arguing that 52 sets is optimal is insane.
Even in this study, they barely, they even talked about the highest volume group was really tired at the end of 2 weeks. That was 2 weeks of this. I did a video a while back. Sustainable training, right? Even if, and this was Mike's thing. Oh, and back to the volume debate. That was another one of Mike's arguments about using super high volumes. Well, maybe if you use really high volumes early in your career, maybe you can eke out a little bit more growth above your genetic limit.
If you get somewhere faster, you have gotten to a point in which you are still more youthful, less injury prone, and more likely to put on more gains. If someone reaches the tip of their spear at age 40, geez, you're 40. It's, like there's only so much you can gain after that. But if someone reaches the tip of their spear abilities by the time they're 30, they're still young, and they still have a potential to take that even further. So I think there's an absolute difference there as well.
That's not what a genetic limit is, fuck knuckle. Okay?
Oh my god, fuck knuckle. That one came out the back, dude. He got that one out this he used his tongue to say that one. Jesus Christ.
Doesn't matter how you get there, you end up at the same point. Even if you get, and because somebody asked me that question, it's Q&A. You're like, will you gain faster or reach a higher level than you would by using moderate volumes for long periods? So they go, no, because a genetic limit is a genetic limit is a genetic limit. You're going to get to where you're going to get. Maybe, because Mike is like, well, maybe if you get closer to in 3 years versus, because he was like, well, rather than taking 7 years to reach your genetic limit, you get there in 5. It only takes 3 to 4 if you're doing it right. The 7 was just a thrown out number that is completely illegitimate. But the guy asked me, it's like, once you get, I go, yeah, you'll get to the same point and you won't burn out, you won't get injured, right? Because even if these short-term studies are showing what they're purported to show, which they're usually not, what do you do for the rest of the
The Art of Violence. Thank you for your 2 USD, brother. Keep rocking the content. Talk about your Muay Thai. I will sometime.
Because,
for sure.
as I like to jokingly say, and this is anecdote, so I know I'm the science guy, but my experience being hurt is not good for gains. And when people do this shit, they get hurt. All the people that jumped on the high frequency thing ended up with joint problems. All the people who did the MRV stuff ended up overtrained and injured. Rather than trying to get 5% every 8 weeks by doing triple the volume and then being injured for 3 months, you're better off getting 3% over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Because the increase in gains by doubling your volume is never double. The return on investment is microscopic. Assuming most people get it anyway. So like I said, you cannot do high volumes for all body parts. It can't be done. Even if you look at, like, go back to Brad's study, when you actually, look at it, okay, so it was 9 versus 27 versus 45 sets, ostensibly, except that it was mostly compounds and they measured isolated muscles. So first, let's math this out rationally. You cut that set count in half, right? They did nothing but compound chest and measured triceps. It was not 9, 27, and 45 sets for triceps. More like 4.5, 13, and 22. Okay. I absolutely believe that 12 was better than 4.5. We're going from suboptimal volumes to up. Even then, we thought about 10 to 20. 4.5 to 12, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And 12 to 22, there was no improvement. Okay. 12 to 20, same fucking thing as always. Is the same for the others. If you go from suboptimal volumes and do more to an optimal range, yeah, you probably get more growth. But even if higher volume, that's what this paper showed, was that, as the volumes went up, growth kind of did. It was a big asymptote. Like, it never flattened out completely, but again, there's only a couple really high volume studies, super high volumes, but it was just the return on investment, right? The proportional gains for every, and like I said, this was in usually single muscle groups. This cannot be sustained or done.
Yeah.
So what he is saying is that more volume does contribute to more growth. However, the return on investment is diminished more and more and more as you increase volume. Like you said, the isotope, where it basically plateaus at a certain non-defined point, that would lead to, so let's say you're, a bodybuilder and you're trying to lift. You could lift 4 hours a day, miss 2 meals, or you could lift for an hour and a half, get 95% of the results, and then eat those 2 meals and likely get more results, because muscle protein synthesis is based on many more things than just weight training. Yes, tension is the big modifier, but you're also considering protein consumption, protein timing, you're considering sleep, like many other factors here. So, I can see the point. you definitely, I mean, you can make the argument that higher volume works better, but obviously for in a vacuum, you know, that's true, but not in real situations.
Solomon Nelson actually did a really good video on that. I will link it below. But yeah, if you see
Also, going back to the whole bar speed thing and technical form and this, there's a video somebody might put up about a bunch of people that like train under him or with him or something, and there's a bunch of guys using
Oh yeah, this
train
what the
under him or with him.
fuck kind
There's
of
a video
form is
somebody
this? What kind of fucking form is this, dude? Yo. Yo, come on. Brother. This cannot be a row. This cannot be a row. He's obviously supporting this.
might put up about
Look at that. He's doing a stiff leg deadlift, not a fucking row.
a bunch of people that like train.
Yo, come on, dude. Catch me dead in the gym before I do this movement. Catch me dead in the gym.
Under him or with him or something, and there's a bunch of guys using admittedly perfect form with the most piss ass weights you've ever, and he caught all kinds of flack for it. It was like, yeah, Mike, these people's form is meticulous, but they're not lifting real weight.
That's the backbreaker row.
This won't get you anywhere in the real world. And he probably took that down too because Mike doesn't handle criticism well.
I looked at some Instagram comments on a post I made a little while ago about another lifter that's in our kind of little forum, and his great technique, and there's people on there just dunking on him. And the thing is, like, whoever you are out there listening to this, there's a very high probability that I'm much better at making fun of people than you are. As a matter of fact, I can sit face to face with you and slam dunk on your entire life. It'd just be real bad news. Things I wouldn't even feel comfortable saying that are just true about you.
Yeah, I don't like that. It's kind of a vicious take. All because of someone that commented on the internet. I always think that's the funniest thing. The people who seem to get the most aggravated about the comments on the internet are also the ones who try to perpetually set themselves as the best or the authority in whatever matter they're talking about. And I think time and time again we just see that this is not the fucking case at all. Okay, hold on.
Oh, this was another beautiful straw man. Mike.
Hey man, even though our perspectives on steroids is the polar opposite, you have quickly gained my respect and definitely one of my favorite new fitness influencers. Keep up the good videos. I appreciate that, Wet Paint. And fuck opinions, right? At the end of the day, it's all about enjoying life and being happy, celebrating how great you are and not who other people are, right? So I think that's the most important.
You, Lyle.
I mean, this is deep, you guys. This guy literally pulled every receipt
Number
in history.
one is he takes technical failure very seriously. So whereas some trainees don't take technical failure so seriously, he holds himself back, fearing that the very next rep would be technical breakdown.
First of all, Lyle is talking about concentric failure, not technical failure. Technical failure is when you know your next rep, in order to be done, will have to be done improperly. Like you'll have to scoot your butt off of the leg curl machine in order to make it happen.
As RP goes, we're going to be sticklers on technique, and we always will be. And that's just our prerogative. Other people, maybe not. And I think that's where maybe there's like a little disconnect there.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. I just thought
no. Yeah, that's totally valid. So that's one concern, is the technical failure, absolute failure discrepancy. Another concern is, so at the end of the day, when we're going close to failure in our videos, we're going close to the point where we think in our heads another rep will result in very poor technique or significantly altered technique.
Oh, right, and this is on leg curl set. What do you think of that?
Okay, Now, if you go back and look at the article series or listen to videos, I addressed that. And I made it very clear what I was discussing. I was not discussing technical failure. I was not discussing volition. I was very clear in what I was talking about. He was making the argument about something I was not talking about because that's what he's best at. What technical failure is there to occur on a leg curl? We're not talking about back squatting. We're not talking about deadlifting. The simple fact is that if you have any decent skill, you can do barbell complex movements to physiological failure. Now, I'm not saying you should, and most absolutely shouldn't, because it can be very dangerous. But if you are a highly skilled lifter, you absolutely can do it without ever breaking form. I put up videos of myself doing it. I put up videos of other people doing it. Irrespective of that, there is no technical failure on a fucking leg curl or a leg press or a leg extension. Spare me.
This is interesting. I think there is technical failure. I don't support it, but I believe that there is technical failure on something like a leg curl for sure. I just don't necessarily, I'm not in, full support of this as a primary mode of hypertrophy, but I can see where you could have technical failure. Let's say you're unable to reach full like contractile motion, right? You're not able to get those legs all the way. If you're lying down on a leg curl, you're not able to get the legs all the way back up to your butt. I could consider that technical failure, but I don't know. The antics, right? Like it doesn't really matter. The Art of Violence, 5 USD. How's life going? Mike and Chris Williamson did a recent video, and Mike creeped out one of the female personal trainers on camera. It was funny as fuck. I'll check that out. I got to go train. Have a good one all. Hey, man. See you later, Chris. Appreciate you being here. Ryan, he creeped out all the girls in that gym. That's crazy. Mike can definitely be a creepy guy. Yeah. Curls for girls. Yeah. That's nuts, dude. All right, guys. I wish I could go through this whole video, but I have to move. I genuinely have to leave the state tonight, and move into my new house tomorrow. So I got to pack everything up here, get it all situated, leave early in the morning, get to my new house, and hopefully settle in, set a studio up, and then get recording again. So, but I appreciate you guys being here. If you like this content, as always, talk to me down below in the comments. Love to hear it. Subscribe if you can. It does me huge favors. And I'd love to hear more from you guys by doing these lives. It's great. I can interact with you, and that means the world to me. So good luck with your days. Hope you all have a beautiful Christmas holiday if I don't talk to y'all before then. And be safe. Whatever you do, be responsible. And if you're alone, feel free to reach out. Happy to help out if I can.